Frank Sinatra sang one time, love and marriage go together like the horse and carriage. I tell you, brother, you can't have one without the other. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day number 5 of the Torah portion, Teitze. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 24 and start reading with verse 1. When a man takes a wife and shall marry her, then it shall be, if she finds no favor in his eyes, because he has found a matter of uncoveredness in her. And he shall write her a certificate of divorce and put it in her hand and send her out of his house. And if she has left his house and went and became another man's wife, and the latter husband shall hate her and write her a certificate of divorce and put it in her hand, or send her out of his house, or when the latter husband dies who took her to be his wife, then the former husband who sent her away is not allowed to take her back to be his wife after she has been defiled, for that would be an abomination before Yahweh. Do not bring sin on the land which Yahweh your Elohim has given you as an inheritance. Very complicated situation here. Let's break this down just a little bit. And so we look to the book of Malachi, and in Malachi chapter number 2, and I'm turning there quickly. Malachi chapter number 2, verse 11 says this: Yehudah has acted treacherously, and abomination has been done in Israel and Jerusalem, for Yehudah has profaned what is set apart to Yahweh, which he loved, and has married the daughter of a foreign mighty one. Let Yahweh cut off from the tents of Yaakov the man who does this, stirring up or answering and bringing an offering to Yahweh of hosts. So he's telling then that there is a false marriage between Israel, or those of Israel, and foreign nations. This is one of the reasons that they were sent out of the land to begin with. During the days of Ezra the scribe led a group back from Babylon, Persia at that time, to return home to Israel, to Jerusalem in particular. And he found out that the previous group had undertaken men marrying foreign wives. He was outraged. He sat down in a stunned stupor and pulled his hair out of his beard and was overwhelmed that they would do this thing. So these men were made to put away these foreign wives. You could ask Solomon, Shlomo, if foreign wives have any influence on you. They certainly do. Though the marriage partner that is not committed to walking the way that you walk, or that you choose to walk, will be an adversary. You have to have a sense of partnership and an agreement that you're going to walk the same way. Commonly in modern marriages, where you have two people of two different religious beliefs, maybe one is Jewish and the other is not, or maybe one is a Christian and the other a Muslim, etc. And they try to syncretize the two belief systems into a single system, where then both systems become compromised, and neither one of them really are authentic, and any resulting children will be caught in the middle of the confusion. Having a common walk is vital and necessary for any marriage to be successful as far as spiritual belief systems go. In this particular case, Yah is symbolically also hinting to us that there is a time where Israel will sin against him and will be found in a state of uncoveredness. Now, that's a word that basically is telling us that the maiden, the virgin maiden, was that in name only, but not in reality. And the husband finds that out. Seeing then that he has been deceived about the correct status, let's use that word, status of his wife, he gives her a get, a writing of divorcement, and sends her away. In his estimation, the whole thing is a fraud. Yah was saying through Malachi, when you show up at my altar and you're practicing things that are not of my heart and against my Torah, and yet you claim that your offerings are devout and set apart, you're perpetrating fraud toward me. If you read from the prophet Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse 8, you will see that he describes how he gave the house of Israel for her many adulteries, for her many liaisons, and her consistent unfaithfulness and infidelity toward him. He has written to her a get, a bill of divorce. Yet in Hosea, he describes how that he is going to restore this wayward wife, this wife with many husbands and lovers, and bring her back to himself. Yet the Torah here says that that's an abomination. So which way is right? Well, it's a complicated situation, but there is, I believe, a resolve. You see, through Yeshua, the first husband actually dies. Then he is resurrected as a different version or a different one of his identity. And you say, well, that's kind of skimming a little bit. But let's also understand that when we come to Messiah, that the old person that we are is dead. And behold, all things have become new. And that we are, quote unquote, born again. We are no longer who we were, but we have taken on a new identity. So in spiritual terms, both the bride and the bridegroom have been renewed, restored, resurrected in a means to become different ones. That which was then is replaced with that which is now. Now, I'm not speaking of replacement theology. Yah is the same yesterday, today, and forever. So the resurrected version of Yeshua is identical in character and in belief and in commitment to the Father's will as the one who was nailed to the tree. His belief did not change. Therefore, our belief is not changed. The covenant remains the same. Following after this, it says that when a man takes a new wife, let him not go out into the army, nor let any matter be imposed on him. He shall be exempt 1 year for the sake of his home to rejoice with his wife whom he has taken. And that is to understand then that if a man has married a wife and there is not an heir produced through the marriage, he goes off to war, is slain in battle, then his generations are cut off. Taking on a bride, spiritually speaking, an application of this, when Yeshua takes on his bride, he spends a year with her, establishing a home with her, building a home with her, creating generations with her. A woman needs to know, and I'm speaking from my personal experience with my wife, she needs to know a sense of security. It's understood that a woman wants a home. She wants her place. The home in large part becomes a part of her identity. So she's very particular about its presentation and its appearance and its upkeep, etc., because she sees it as a reflection of herself. She needs her husband to help her to establish that. It's his act of doing so that conveys to her a recognition. He knows who I am. He knows my heart. He wants to help me. He is partnering with me, and we are creating something that we can both be proud of. That's our heart with Yeshua as well. We work together with him. He creates with us that which we can both be honored and proud of. And part of that is establishing Shabbat in your home. As you embrace Shabbat this day, May you find his presence, the King, your husband, with you. May he encourage you, love you, and see you fulfilled in all things. And we'll see you again tomorrow. Not tomorrow, but next week. Until then, Shabbat Shalom.